Okay.
Hi guys, welcome.
Hi.
So this is Belle. She's been coming and doing work with me for about a year, 18 months now.
Yep.
When she came to me, she was already a reader, so she's come to develop a few extra gifts. One of the things that I wanted to raise today, which has come up recently, is a lot of teenage girls go through this spiritual awakening. It's well documented, and when we get older and our time comes and we're called to this kind of work, um, a lot of what we learned as teenagers starts to come to the fore. Being psychic isn't day one we learn this, day two we learn this. We can go away for 10 years and then come back to it, go away for 15 years, then come back to it. It's not always an ongoing thing. And the reason for this is we're supposed to be physical. We're supposed to experience the joys of going rock climbing and having children and having families and traveling. And only part of who we are is spiritual, not all of who we are. So Bella's aunt kindly agreed to come in and share her story as a teenager. So some of us are fortunate enough to be brought up in a family that embraces this, or they have friends that embrace this. Myself, I was brought up in a very religious family, and so what I was doing was seen as quite evil. And we didn't have any friends that did this until I got to my late teenage years, where I discovered that there was a whole subculture of people that could do this. So, Belle, tell us about your teenage years, because those tend to be the hardest years for a girl to go through.
Yeah, so I was a pretty naughty teen, I guess. And so we're looking about, going into the 2000s. That quite goth kind of look was in. So, and then a friend of mine, her mum was quite spiritual, so that kind of opened it up a little bit. And I went to a shop in Fremantle one day and bought myself a deck of cards. I just started reading the book and trying to work it out for myself. But yeah.
So if we break down the word spiritual, it isn't about seeing spirits per se. It's about that connection with the universe, with our intuition, with our spiritual self, the essence of who we are. Did you find that within those teenage years, or did you find that after you had children?
Probably more so after I had children. I think when I was younger, we did dabble with it a little bit, but it was probably a bit scary, I think.
So, what do you think took the fear away as you aged?
I think you just become more confident within yourself, more confident within the universe, the belief in, something bigger than yourself, and yeah.
So, at what point would you say you could actually see spirits? How many years would you say you've been doing this before you could comfortably say, "Oh, I do see spirits"?
I think probably maybe this year, the end of after coming here and talking to other people and just having that community really helped me kind of open up to it. Yeah.
Okay. So, for you personally, so it's rather than a generalization, what do you think your obstacle was that was stopping you being able to see spirits? Was there some kind of fear there?
I think it was fear, and I think it was just that self-belief as well. Is it real? Like, I know that I'm seeing and hearing and feeling. But yeah, just that self-doubt. And trying to tell other people that if I did get it wrong, I might be silly or those sort of things.
So one of the things as a psychic, we don't admit to getting anything wrong. But where we go wrong is where we start to back up on what we've said, or we try to fit it into what the person said. If we stay solid, no, this is what I see, it may take 2 years, it may take 10 years before it comes about. I have one case, I met the woman 18 years after. Usually a tarot reading lasts 12 to 18 months. She was doing her final card 18 years after.
Wow.
Hers went not 12, 18 months, it went 12, 18 years.
Yeah. And I think sometimes the things that spirits say or want you to say to other people, they don't make sense to you. So, but then when you do tell someone, it makes complete sense to them. Yeah. So just getting past that barrier of like, that doesn't make sense. I'm not going to tell this person, but it makes complete sense to them. So you just need to say, yeah, what you're hearing.
I find some of their wording, because I don't generally swear, I find some of the wording that a spirit may use does not sit well with me. The problem is, if we don't use the words they tell us, the person can't confirm their gutter-mouthed loved one on the other side.
Yeah.
So that does make things interesting.
Yeah.
So, a while ago, those who are on my Facebook page know that I did put out a push for Belle to come and do healing with me. And so Belle is actually coming and doing healing with me in August.
Yeah.
So what happened that pushed you into coming and doing this?
Just getting outside of my comfort zone, I suppose, yeah. And yeah, seeing how much of a difference, like when other people hear how much of a difference it can make to people's lives. Yeah.
Okay. So I will be doing a video on healing. I meant to do that this week, but because Belle agreed to come in, I've delayed it. And one of the things that we're starting to see, especially in Perth, in Western Australia, is more and more doctors are listening to what the alternative healers have to say. Even if they don't agree with it, they are actually starting to listen now, because all of us are doing the same thing. We're trying to get the best for the person that's sitting in front of us who's feeling like crap.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, who would be the first person, if you could heal anyone after you've done your healing? Who would be the first person you'd heal?
I would be healing my daughter.
Okay. Okay. So part of specifically Akea, which is what Belle's coming to learn, is genetic healing. So to heal her daughter, we'd actually go through here where there's the genetic memory and actually heal Belle, so then it would knock on and heal her daughter. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to add? Oh yeah, by the way, my name's Abigail. Bit slow with that one. Is there anything else you'd like to add for someone that's like thinking about following this path, whether they're a teenager or they've already had their family? What would you say to them?
I think just go for it. Surround yourself with like-minded people. That really helps. Yeah, but yeah, just start doing it, and more will come. You'll learn along the way.
Did you realise before you started coming and more formally studying how big the subculture of people like us are?
Yes, somewhat, but I think I didn't grow up very religious and things, so I've always been quite open to it. But I think, yeah, the more you start doing it, and people are just drawn to you, and you find out that, yeah, a lot more people really are quite open to it.
Okay. So you have young children.
Yes.
Okay. So one of the things, there's a really fine line when you're involved in this kind of work, with your children taking some of the practices and some of what we believe into schools, because the last thing we want is them being bullied.
Yeah.
How are you finding that balance?
Personally, we haven't come up with any challenges with that. Two of my daughters do read cards from time to time. I've got some angel ones that they like. But yeah, I guess it depends on your family, but it's yeah.
Are those two high school age, older?
So
Or
one's high
primary.
school and one's primary, but she's
Okay.
very little. So I think that even if she was going to school talking about it, the kids probably wouldn't pick up too much. Yeah.
It's just, she's very quiet, isn't
She
she?
is very
She's
quiet,
shy.
yeah.
Whereas your other ones are a little bit more open, so, but with them being older,
Yeah.
there's more like-minded people once you get to about 13, 14, 15,
Yeah.
up to your early 20s, especially with girls.
Yeah, and my eldest, her friends absolutely love it. They've got so many questions for me, and yeah, really, yeah.
So I'd like to thank Belle for coming. For those that don't know, I do run a Facebook group, Perth WA Psychic Tarot. We'd love to see you join us. Thanks for coming, Belle. We really appreciate your input.
Thanks for having me.
And hopefully we can get you back in after you've done your healing, so you can give us a little bit of insight into it. As the teacher, my perception of what I'm teaching is very different to what someone experiences as they're learning it. So it would be nice to get Belle's feedback after she's done the course and what she's got out of it.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, beautiful.